Carol Ofori.
One of my favorite days of the week where we get to sit down with women that are just trailblazing in every word, in every space, in everything. And today is no different. We're so excited to be sitting down with Novashni Chetty, the Chief Operating Officer at Sharks Rugby, with a career spanning over 2 decades within one of South Africa's leading rugby organizations. She's really built a reputation for strategic leadership, innovation, and of course, delivering world-class fan and commercial experiences. Now, from starting as an intern back in 2004 to rising through the ranks to the place she is now, she's also been selected for the prestigious Supersport Leaders Programme through Gibbs, alongside top figures like Lucas Radebe and of course Bongiwe Msomi. And she's in studio now to chat more about her journey, how it's been since 2004, how did we get there. Novashni Chetty, welcome.
Good morning, Carol. Thank you so much for having me today.
This is so overdue, Novashni, like so overdue. I'm so curious to hear your story of how you found yourself in the center of Sharks Rugby, and from 2004, starting as an intern. How did we get there?
Yes, I was obviously studying public relations. We needed to do 3 months of internship, and I took a chance and I only applied to the Shark for internship. And I went in late 2003. For an interview. And I remember later that, in December 2003, I was just sitting at home and I got a call from the Sharks and they said, "You've been successful in your application."
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I've always been sports mad.
Yeah.
I love sport, any type of sport. And to be able to work within a sports fraternity was a dream come true for me, especially seeing people on TV and then getting to interact with those people. And then 12th of January 2004, that journey began. And it's been one that I've really, really enjoyed, and I feel very blessed to have been on.
I mean, for you to have been with the brand for such a long time, you know the inner workings of that entire system, and to have found your way through the ranks, and especially, you think Sharks, you think like that's proper, like guys, big guys, and here you come in as a woman in this space. How did you navigate, like, whether it was imposter syndrome, thinking I'm with all these boys, whether it was I'm a woman, I'm an Indian woman, all those dynamics, how did you navigate all of that to find your space and take on the reins?
And that was very much evident, back in 2004. But, you got into an industry that was very male dominated at that time. It's obviously changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
But, you're seeing all these guys, people that have been in the industry for many years, ex-players that have now taken on leadership roles. And, you go in there and you're a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. You're very nervous.
Yeah.
But I think you soon realize that in order for you to grow, in order for you to develop, you've got to hold your own. It's either you sink or swim.
Yeah.
So you take the opportunities that you get and you make the most of it, because some opportunities only come once.
Yeah, and they do only come once. And tell me, what would you say was the most challenging part of this walk with the Sharks? What would you say was a moment or an experience where you're like, oof, this is tough, but girl, we're going?
I'm not going to lie. In the beginning, many people, and I'm not saying within the organization, because within the organization, I had fantastic support.
Yeah.
I was really backed by the leaders at the time that believed in me. Yeah. But I guess it's dealing with people from the outside. Them looking at, as you said, this young Indian girl, because when I went in, I was not even 21 at that time.
Right.
And, then being able to say, but what does she know about rugby? And I've got that once or twice. What do you know about rugby? And, you don't really answer those questions. You just work harder,
And that's the thing.
And that was evident. But in all, through this journey, there's been so much of support, so much of guidance, and I'm very thankful for that.
I love what you say about you just work harder. Yes. Because, as a person of color in business, you just always have to work harder. You have to jump higher. You have to keep proving yourself. And then you're a woman. You have to prove you deserve to be there. And it's so beautiful that you are vulnerable in speaking about that, because we can only imagine that it was a journey for you. And I always say, when young people see someone like you sitting at the helm like that, it makes it a reality and it's actually tangible. That maybe little Novashni, who's listening to the radio right now, can one day be at the Sharks in that space, in the same chair years later. Do you feel that your journey is one of inspiration as it inspires you and many others behind you?
Absolutely. I think it's not just my journey, it's other women in various other industries. You grow up and you don't think, I came from a very traditional background, living in an Indian community, not thinking that, I always had big dreams. I always wanted to be better, I was a go-getter.
Yeah.
But you never really know what your glass ceiling is and where you can end up, being. So I guess our journeys and what in the path we've taken can always be used as inspiration. I have a 9-year-old niece, and I always go on about education and how you need to be, even at a young age. And she's like, why do we always have to talk about education? And I said, it's the grounding, and if you can believe in yourself, you believe in your ability, nobody can shake that. If you know who you are, you know what you want to get, and you need to know how you're going to get there.
What's it like navigating life as a single woman, doing this really, really big job that probably consumes most of your day and your life?
There's this thing, we laugh at work and we say, we married to the job. It's myself and our CFO that's always in the office when everyone's gone, and at 6:30 at night we're sitting together and we're like, this is our life. But it can get tough sometimes when it's busy. But if you love what you do and you're passionate about what you do, then you don't see it as a job. And then to give it your all is easy. It comes easily. And the fruit of that, to see the fruits of your labor is on match day and events, to see how excited people get.
Yes.
I think it makes it all worthwhile.
Right. We're hanging out with the Chief Operating Officer at the Hollywoodbest Sharks Rugby, Novashni Chetty. Now, I guess another important question I ask you is, what's been a career highlight for you through this journey? What's been that one moment you've soaked up and said, I have such a cool job?
Oh my God.
I'm sure you got plenty.
Gosh, there's so many over the years. I've never actually sat down and thought of that career moment, Right. Through all our wins, we've had some incredible wins, incredible successes. But I think, one thing that really stood out for me, and because I think it was in an international setting, is us winning the EPCR Challenge Cup at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
There we go.
Being able to visit that stadium, being able to be in that main change room and celebrating, after a rather tough season. And, just bringing it all together, you sat there and you felt pride, you were happy with that. And I think that's a memory that will stand out amongst many other memories.
Yeah. Listen, you went to the change room, so I have to ask, do you visit the change room and do they scream, Novashni's coming? And then everybody grabs a towel and, she's coming to say hi.
Over the years,
how does it work?
They play pranks, They play pranks. I'm so used to them. They pranksters. But when I need to, I'm there. But we're very respectful of each other's space, But I do go there when I need to, and you'll hear them screaming often. Yes, you're correct.
She's coming! I love it. And this is another question I love asking my guests who sit in this chair. It's inspiration. I mean, you're sitting there just living your life, and I always say it's always the people just living their lives and doing what they love that inspire people without even knowing it. What words of inspiration do you have for someone who also wants to shatter the ceiling like you've done?
Yeah, I think it's just belief in yourself. Things that you believe you can't do, you can do. And if you have a strong work ethic, if you're determined, and if you're courageous enough to chase after what you want, then nobody can stand in your way.
Nobody can stand in your way. And lastly, the Supersport Leaders Programme. One of the key big lessons you learned from the experience. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, that was an amazing journey. I did that towards the end of 2024, 2025. And, we spent a solid 10 months doing this program. We also had an international immersion in the UK for 10 days, and just being surrounded by like-minded leaders in sport was an amazing journey. Supersport went all out in exposing us, to key to key brands abroad, working with the Premier League, seeing how they operate.
Right.
Being able to go to the ATP, to the LTA, to see how tennis has grown.
Right.
And just, going to live Premier League games. It was just a wonderful opportunity. And then we went to Loughborough University for a couple of days to see how they operate and things that we can implement in our day-to-day to enhance sport in this country.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And I mean, last weekend you gave some other children a hiding, hey? They left with a big egg, a big zero, as they call it. What are the games coming up? What can people look forward to with the Hollywoodbest Sharks?
We got a game this Friday against Cardiff at Hollywoodbest Kings Park. It's a massive game for us. We make no illusions about the fact that we're pushing for a top 8 finish, and every single game is so important. So if fans are able to come through Friday night, 7 o'clock, please get your tickets and be there to support the boys before they go on the road for a couple of games and return back in May.
Oh, there we have it. The COO of the Hollywoodbest Sharks. It is Novashni Chetty. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. We appreciate it. We want to see more zeros for the other team. All right. And we must just keep on winning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for the opportunity. It's fabulous that you do this to uplift women.
I love it. Thank you again.
Weekdays 9 to 12 on East Coast Radio.